everyone. We have some more expected to come, but with the interest of time, we will get going. So, thank you all for taking your time out of your busy day to join us. This is the second webinar in our GSP Isn't Scary education series. As each webinar is a standalone, don't worry if you were unable to join us previously. My name is John, and I am the Group Business Consultant here at IDC, and here to help you with your group savings needs. We're privileged today to have Nubahar, Sales Manager of Western Canada, and Matthew, who's a Senior Accountant Executive based out of Ontario from Commonwealth, joining us and giving us the offerings of Commonwealth and how you can leverage IDC and Commonwealth to write more business. We'll reserve some time for questions at the end, but please feel free to ask them in the chat as we go on. And then with that, I will share my slides. Are you an advisor who have no group experience but have opportunities you want to explore? Workplace Solutions have you covered. We offered comprehensive GSP and GB services. Our service models allows you to focus on what you are good at while still building your business without having to deal with the process of learning this market or hiring staff. We work with every carrier available, and we offer 3 service models allowing for customized support and flexibility. Now, our first model is back office support. For advisors who still want to be in the driver's seat, but doesn't want to deal with the hassles of setting up a new policy, we do the legwork for you. We provide plan design consultation, coordinate information from carriers, and provide quote comparisons and work with you to implement the policy. And the next one is advisor support. For advisors who want a little bit more assistance during the setup, as well as ongoing maintenance of the plan, we can work directly with the sponsor while keeping you involved on all communications. And lastly, it's referral direct. For advisors who don't have the time to work with new clients or would rather focus on their core business, all you need is an executive relationship, and we can serve as your team to work with sponsors and members for a full service, hands-off approach while still increasing your revenue. Should you have any questions or want to find out more, please reach out directly and we can book a call to see how IDC can help grow your business. Now with that, I'll pass it on to Nubahar and Matt to show you how Commonwealth can help you take your business to the next level.
Thank you so much, John, and the IDC WIN team for having us today, and a very warm welcome to everyone joining the webinar. My name is Nubahar, and I'm the Sales Manager for Western Canada, joining you from Victoria, BC. Very excited to be here alongside my colleague Matt, our Senior Manager of Partnerships based in Toronto. At Commonwealth, our mission is to make financial security and retirement accessible to everyone. This mission is at the heart of everything we do, and innovation is key to how we deliver on it. So today we'll show you how our platform and approach can help you bring the same innovation to your clients, grow your practice, and most importantly, prove that selling group savings is not scary. So here's what we'll cover today. So we'll start off with the group retirement opportunity, how IDC WIN and Commonwealth make selling group retirement simple and effective. We'll highlight a success story from an advisor who has worked with us, give you a live demo of our platform to showcase its ease of use, quick hit on the capital accumulation plan or CAP guidelines, and finally we'll wrap up with a Q&A session. So as John mentioned, feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A box as we go through the presentation. We'll try to answer them throughout the presentation, but if we don't get to them, we'll have time at the end to answer all your questions. So let's start off by framing up the group retirement market. The group retirement market is an untapped opportunity with huge potential. Right now, only 8% of Canadian businesses offer a group retirement plan. That number is steadily increasing. We know that 78% of workers see retirement benefits as a key factor when deciding on a job. So this represents a huge opportunity for advisors to step in and help businesses stand out when it comes to their retention and attraction strategy. The conversation about holistic financial wellness is one that's coming up more and more with plan sponsors, with heads of HR. So retirement benefits, again, something that can factor in really well to that holistic kind of total reward strategy that your clients are setting up. Now, beyond meeting client needs, we also want to talk about the revenue opportunity. Obviously, we're in the business of making money for you as advisors. So rest assured that the group retirement market also represents a very strong revenue opportunity. So by setting up just 5 SMB plans per year, around 25 members each, you can build a steady recurring income. Group retirement is a very sticky business with long renewal cycles in comparison to, say, group benefits. So you'll find that plans don't move very often, and this revenue just grows steadily over time. There's minimal amount of ongoing servicing that is required for these accounts. So you set up the plan once, and the revenue continues to grow quarter over quarter, as you can see. Now, this projection is specific to Commonwealth. So we're not going to say that you will make this kind of revenue if you place a group retirement plan with just any provider. What makes this possible is Commonwealth's ability to drive better results. So things like higher plan participation, higher match maximization rates, these are the things that really help you derive more value from the group retirement plan. So I'll pass it over to Matt to dive into what makes Commonwealth different.
Commonwealth is Canada's fastest growing group retirement plan provider. And as you'll see in a minute, it's powered by an award winning digital retirement platform. Really want to echo some of the sentiment that John touched upon earlier. Our philosophy is really similar to that of IDC's. We want to be a true partner in your business and help you grow this line of business. You don't need to be an expert. And again, we'll show you how all of that comes together. But this growth comes in close partnership with working like advisors such as yourself, who see the value in delivering an innovative experience to their clients. How we help you, how Commonwealth can help you bring this new product to the attention of your clients is really kind of best summarized in 3 key principles. One, we want to help you provide a better plan to those clients and to the end users, the members themselves. As you'll see in a moment, everything's fully digital. There's built-in digital retirement planning tools and a very streamlined investment product that is up to 20 to 30% cheaper in terms of investment management fees than those of the legacy insurance carriers. As I sort of alluded to, we want you to, focus on the things that are important to you and your business, spending less time on low value admin or service issues. We offer a really turnkey service to members, to plan sponsors, dedicated human support, and we're always there for you every step of the way. Again, you don't need to be an expert in GRS. We want to really help be that partner in your business for you. All of these tools, and as you'll see in a moment, really come to life in helping you deliver greater revenue per plan than you would if you were to offer a group retirement plan from another legacy insurance carrier. There's plan for life features that are built in, and we'll talk about more of that in a moment when I share the demo. And there's a lot of cross-sell support to help you, approach your business owner clients, approach your group benefit clients, and offer them a GRS opportunity. Some of the metrics to back up this, greater value is some that Nobahar just touched upon. We had some benchmarking that was put together by PwC back in 2022, looking at kind of these metrics that matter in driving plan value, both for a revenue perspective for advisors, but also for the plan sponsors who are investing in this benefit and hoping that it's going to provide a return on the investment in the shape of greater employee retention, greater employee loyalty, or onboarding. Across the board, a Commonwealth plan will see greater participation. Employees will take full advantage of the match that's being made available to them, which means more cash flow into the plan, providing you with compensation. And not only that, employees enjoy using the plan so much that they transfer their personal assets in at a much higher rate than you might see with a legacy insurance provider. And even after they've left their employer, they stick around and they continue to use the Commonwealth platform for their retirement savings. And when employees do that, they still remain part of your book of business. Now, our focus is primarily on the small to medium size segment of the market. Those employers have traditionally received poor value from the incumbents, the legacy insurance carriers. The fees aren't great, the service isn't great, and the technology, of course, has not been built in the past decade. But that said, as you can see here, we work with organizations of all sizes across industries, from very large organizations, as you see there, from the Ontario Medical Association, to local businesses who are passionate about providing great benefits to their employees. Our typical group size is that 50 to 200 life range, but we have no minimum requirements for headcount or cash flow. So we're always happy to have a conversation about, any client of yours who you think this might be a good fit for.
Thanks, Matt. So by now, hopefully you're bought into the group retirement opportunity and you're asking yourself, how can I get started? So there's 3 ways that you can accelerate your revenue growth with group retirement plans. The first bucket is prospecting. So identifying those high potential opportunities, actually leading the conversation of prospecting with the group retirement opportunity. So this would be, email templates, brochures, reaching out to clients via calls. So we have some marketing collateral that can support you with group retirement prospecting. The second bucket would be the cross-sell opportunity. Now, this may be particularly relevant, especially for any benefits advisors attending the call. So the key here is to look for opportunities to introduce group retirement plans during your existing client meetings. For instance, during a benefits renewal, you have an arm's reach into a large number of clients who could benefit from a group retirement plan. So it's kind of an easy way to add more services to those clients and just demonstrate even more value as their plan advisor. And again, we can provide conversation starter materials to help clients see how group retirement can solve their business challenges, whether it's high turnover or retention and attraction. Group retirement can be used as a tool to help support your clients with those business challenges. And then the final bucket would be upgrading. So moving clients who have an existing group retirement plan with a legacy insurance carrier to a more modern group retirement plan with Commonwealth to improve those plan metrics that Matt was highlighting. So again, we can support you with a plan benchmarking sheet. So this looks like a 1-pager that basically breaks down what their current plan participation and overall plan engagement looks like and what it could look like with a provider like Commonwealth, just showing that opportunity for improvement, not to mention the potential for improvement on fees, which can lead to literally tens of thousands of dollars in fee savings for employees over their lifetime. So just to double click on the cross-sell example specifically, it always helps to use a real life example just to add some color. So here's a quick case study on an advisor who leveraged IDC and Commonwealth services to sell a group retirement savings plan. The advisor, Min, had a client who needed a group retirement plan up and running in just 4 weeks. It may not come as a surprise that none of the other carriers could deliver on that tight timeline. So IDC connected Min with Commonwealth as a potential option, a provider that could meet that tight timeline. We held a joint consultation with the client where we walked them through our platform and the implementation process. So coming back to Matt's point, you don't need to be an expert about GRS. We're here to support you to answer any questions that your client has about the nitty-gritty when it comes to setup or plan design. So we supported Min with that conversation with the client. From there, it was a simple matter of diving into contracting. Again, everything is done fully digitally. So we sent one contract to the client via Adobe Sign for a quick signature. And from there, we dived into the onboarding process, and the client was supported with a dedicated 2-person team. It was a smaller client. Most clients of that size wouldn't get that kind of 2-person dedicated support from an insurance carrier, but it was something that really helped the client, especially navigating the quick turnaround of setting up a plan in just 4 weeks. So this success story is just one example of how we make group retirement really simple and effective for advisors and their clients. But instead of just giving you examples and telling you about it, let's actually show you how it works. So I'll hand it over to Matt, who will take you through a demo of the platform.
Thank you, Novahar. While I swap screens here, I'll tell you a little bit about what the experience that your employers can expect if they choose to launch a Commonwealth platform. So Novahar mentioned 4 weeks. an implementation turnaround, which is fairly common. We generally prescribe 4 to 6 weeks. We'll have a plan up and running for your employers. In that time, we will certainly help deliver an employee education session, get them excited about the benefit, share a presentation and a demo, very similar to the one that I'm about to show you here now. And also in that timeline, help the payroll and administrative team get set up and get comfortable with the tools, make sure that the payroll system is configured, and that we have those savings flowing accordingly. So the experience for any employee, whether it's at the outset of the initial plan launch, or a new hire has been added by the HR administrator, on their first day, they will receive this enrollment email in their inbox, welcoming them to the plan and inviting them to get started. We can do some neat stuff like personalize these emails as well, depending on client. And all an employee needs to do to get signed up is to click that Enroll Now button. Now, what really sets Commonwealth apart from other carriers in the market is our passion for, really strong service. And the first instance of that is right here in this enrollment email, where we will offer to every single employee the opportunity to book one-on-one time with a member of our support team whenever they'd like. So, for instance, this one here is a member consultation in guided enrollment. I can open up Calendly and I can choose date and time of my choosing and schedule that one-on-one time with a member of the Commonwealth support team. That's available on an unlimited basis. If I ever want to get in touch with somebody and answer any questions, they're more than welcome to do so. This is in addition to chat, email, and phone support for employees as well. As you'll see, however, the enrollment process is incredibly straightforward. All we need to do is click that Enroll Now button, and we'll get right into kind of building that true retirement plan for life. And really, the benefit of the Commonwealth platform is that every single employee is going to go through the process of understanding how much money will they require in retirement. How are they going to save towards that goal? Of course, taking into account my workplace plan, but other elements such as government benefits, my personal savings, and how am I going to invest those assets to ensure that they're there for me when I need them in the future. So really, quick example here, we have a 35-year-old, and to get started, all we need to ask is, at what age would you like to retire? And what is your annual income before tax? So let's say in this case, we're earning $75,000. With that, we're going to start to answer some of those questions for you. As a $75,000 earner, how much money will I need in retirement in order to maintain my current standard of living? And again, we'll go into a lot of detail with the employees when we have those education sessions about how we derive these numbers. But the emphasis is on this gray band here. How am I going to build a portfolio that generates $4,400 per month for me each and every single month that I will need it in retirement? First step is helping you to understand your current savings and how those might apply for the future. Many of us Canadians are already saving in accounts such as the RRSP. Maybe you have some investments in that tax-free savings account. So on and so forth. We can account for a RIF if someone's closer to retirement age. Perhaps you belonged to an organization in the past that offered you a pension plan. Or many Canadians might have some savings outside of registered accounts. For a lot of Canadians, this might look like the equity that we have in our home. I also like to say, for it could be gold, it could be crypto, it could be cash that you keep in the walls. Whatever it is, we're going to apply a modest growth rate to that. We're going to assume that this money stays invested, that you're not pulling it out. And we see here that when I reach retirement age and I start to utilize that money to fund my day-to-day expenditures, it should provide me with about $1,200 per month. So Good start, but I'm still, as we see here, about 2/3 of the way shy of where I need to be. So we'll continue along. And a really critical piece of every Canadian's retirement income puzzle is government benefits. As you see here, they're very, very impactful in helping us to close that gap. But a lot of us just simply don't know what we're eligible for or even that these benefits exist. So we want to make it really easy, build it right into the planning process, and help every member understand what they can expect to receive from programs such as old age security, guaranteed income supplement, and Canada Pension Plan. Where, again, based on the information that we've provided into the platform so far, we can see that if I take my OAS and GIS benefits starting at age 65 in retirement, I can expect about $610 per month from those two programs. Similarly, I see CPP coming off the top of my paycheck every other week. That money is being invested on my behalf, but what does that actually mean for me in retirement? Well, again, based on the information I've provided, it's about $1,500 per month. So now as I scroll down, this is often the light bulb moment for a lot of our members where they're thinking, I'm actually doing better saving for the future than I thought. It's not all doom and gloom. And in fact, between my personal savings already to date, my government benefits, I'm already well on my way there to financial security. Now, if I stopped here and I never saved another penny, I see that I'm still about $1,000 per month shy. But I know this is a workplace plan where I have a benefit match from my employer. And I'll just pause here to say that there's a lot of flexibility in the plan design that we can create. And that's where, myself, Novahar, the team here at Commonwealth, we're more than happy to meet with your clients, have conversations about benchmarking, about plan design, support you in those conversations so that we put a plan together that makes the most sense for that organization. Whatever this employee is eligible for, that's what I'm going to see when I arrive on this page here. So for me, it's 3%. My employer is offering me a 3% match of my paycheck. And we want to help you maximize and take full advantage of that. And we'll see what that looks like on the next page here. My employer is contributing a 3% match to match my 3% contribution. And I see $93 or 3% of my salary is going to come off the top of my paycheck. But with my employer matching and doubling my efforts, $186 is actually being set aside in my RRSP and allowing me to save for the future and set myself up with an additional $680 by the time I'll need it in retirement. In terms of, again, flexibility in plan design, there's also flexibility in the account types that we offer. We see in this plan here that the tax-free savings account is also enabled. So when this is turned on, employees can kind of pick and choose which account type they would like to contribute towards. As you may have recalled from the slide deck, we also offer the deferred profit sharing plan, and we can support defined contribution pension plans as well. Once we have decided how much we would like to deduct from our paycheck, and there's also some flexibility to go above and beyond, maybe I want to drop it down, see how that might affect my savings rate. I now know that there's money coming off the top of my paycheck, and I want to invest that money and put it to work for me so that it is there for me when I need it in retirement. And that's where, again, we want to make things extremely streamlined and straightforward. So every employee, when they arrive at the investment page here, is going to find a personalized portfolio suggestion to them. The portfolios that are being recommended on this page are offered by BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, and utilizing their LifePath suite of target date funds, really kind of the gold standard in group retirement plans today, which, as you'll see in a moment, kind of why that's the case. So as you may recall from page 1, we said that we were 35 years of age and that we wanted to retire at the age of 65, which means we're probably set to retire in the year 2055, give or take a year or two. So this is the target date that my portfolio is working towards. So I've got a 30-year time horizon before I am set to retire. My investment and portfolio needs are going to be very different from my colleague who maybe is retiring in 5 years from now. What these portfolios do is help us manage our risk to no matter how far or how close we are away from that target date. So today, when I'm 35 years of age and I have 30 years to go before I'm set to retire, my portfolio is going to be heavily invested in stocks to help me generate that nest egg. As I get closer and closer to retirement, however, I want to start thinking about taking some of that risk off the table. And that's what these portfolios help me do. Rather than me logging in here, every few months and rebalancing my portfolio, the professional asset managers at BlackRock are taking care of this for me, moving me away from those riskier stocks into those more conservative asset classes like bonds and real estate as I progress throughout my career and even into retirement. We would recommend the vast majority of users to leverage these target date funds. They perform extremely well. They're very low cost, but we know that employees sometimes like to have a little bit more flexibility. And for those individuals, we also offer a build my own portfolio function where they're able to log in, pick and choose, mutual funds across different asset classes, different geographies. For instance, let's say we wanted to put together a full equity portfolio with some US, some Canadian, and some global equity stocks or global equity portfolios. These managed by RBC and their PH&N institutional asset management team. And likewise, I can log in at any time, move my portfolio around as much as I'd like to without penalty. For the sake of my demo here, I'm going to stick with my target date fund selection. And that is it. Employees, as I said, will find themselves enrolled in as little as 10 to 15 minutes. And from there, have access to all of the account management tools at their fingertips. They can log in, see how their funds are performing, make any changes if they want to bump those contributions up or down. And what's really neat is that it's very, very easy for employees to consolidate their savings and keep them all together under one roof. So for instance, if I have a RSP at another institution that I wanted to move over to Commonwealth into my workplace plan, we'd simply ask you which bank you're at, what's the account number that we're talking about, and how much money would we like to transfer. And with a little signature on our mobile app, it's just with a little swipe of your finger, we'll take care of transferring those assets over and settling them inside the investment selected. And as with any contributions into this account, they remain a part of your book of business. Our employers have a similar dashboard and a similar digital experience for managing the plan, which I won't go into too much detail today, but all that to say, more than happy to share a similar demo with your clients as the success story that Nobahar just shared. We're always happy to meet with you, meet with your clients, and really showcase what this platform is and how it can work. With that, I'll stop it here. Do you want to save time for questions at the end? I'll pass it back over to Nobahar.
Perfect. Thanks, Matt. So hopefully seeing the demo live in action kind of helps solidify how and why our metrics tend to outperform the legacy carriers, making it really easy for folks to maximize their match, enroll in the plan. And one thing I'll also mention is that we have a mobile app. So the functionality Matt showed of being able to transfer in an outside account fully digitally folks can even do that from the convenience of their phone, making it really easy to move things over. So we did want to briefly touch on the CAP guidelines. And if this is the first time you're hearing about the CAP guidelines, no worries. We're here to demystify what exactly CAP is and what the guidelines are. So the CAP guidelines are the Capital Accumulation Plan guidelines. They apply to all capital accumulation plans, which broadly speaking would be group RRSPs, group TFSAs, defined contribution pension plans, and the deferred profit sharing plans. So these are the accounts that we also include on our platform, and these would be the plans that the CAP guidelines apply to. Now, the CAP guidelines have been around for a while, and they were largely unchanged for the past few decades. There were several changes that were under consideration, and then last year there was the first major reform in over 20 years. So they did make a fair bit of changes to the CAP guidelines in an attempt to codify best practices based on what the areas of improvement were from the guidelines passed. Now, it's important to note that these CAP guidelines are not legislative, but they do reflect the expectations of regulators, regardless of whether it's pension, securities, insurance. So it is important to be aware of if you're having conversations with your clients, just positioning the group retirement plan in the context of the CAP guidelines, making sure that clients are using the CAP guidelines to derive maximum value from their group retirement plan. That's kind of how we think of it. So as opposed to thinking of it as the set of rules or policies that the plan needs to abide by, it's more so a set of best practices to follow so that clients are deriving the most value from their CAP plan. Application varies based on the size and complexity of the plan as well. So as you can imagine, the expectations for a 500-person defined contribution pension plan would look different than a 10-person straightforward RRSP program. So it's nice that the CAP guidelines kind of take that into consideration. The education efforts and ongoing governance will look different depending on the size and complexity of the plan. So that's just a quick summary of the CAP guidelines. And then wanted to sort of read off some of the key themes that we're seeing from those guidelines. So again, broad strokes, there's overall a focus on member outcomes, not just investment choices. So just to double click on that, Matt walked us through the investment lineup that we have at Commonwealth. Commonwealth has actually been a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to being CAP compliant because we've always believed in having a streamlined investment lineup. So we've never had that menu-based approach where you have to work with employees one-on-one and they're trying to make a selection out of 100 possible investment options. Again, it may come as no surprise that we saw over the past few decades, having more choices doesn't necessarily lead to better member outcomes. So there is that focus on streamlining the investment choices, which Commonwealth has done from day one. Higher governance standards, so doing those kinds of annual plan reviews with clients to make sure that employees are engaged, that folks are getting the most out of their plan. Behaviorally informed features are also encouraged. Again, taking it back to what you just saw on the platform, that would be things like recommending a match. So you'll see you saw on the platform that the member was encouraged to maximize their match. That would be an example of a behaviorally informed feature. So instead of leaving it to the employee to decide how much they want to contribute, we're kind of giving them a smart default recommendation, the same way that we do with the target date funds. There is an emphasis on ongoing education as well. So doing kind of, again, annual education with employees and more focus on fees or value for money. So just making sure that employees are paying the lowest possible fees, getting the most value out of their plan, which of course comes from a combination of having low fees and good investment returns. What you see on the right-hand side of the screen here is just a simple checklist that we put together of how you can position the changes with the CAP guidelines with your clients. You can see that it's been co-branded with IDC as well. So the team at IDC would be happy to share this if you're interested in taking a look at the checklist. Now, you can also use the CAP guidelines as a powerful conversation starter with your clients. So we've developed a helpful checklist you can use to walk them through the changes and make sure they're getting maximum value from their group retirement benefits. Tying this back to our earlier conversation about the 3 ways you can accelerate revenue growth from group retirement, this checklist can open the door to a conversation about upgrading their existing group retirement plan. So if we see that there's not ongoing education, there's not behaviorally informed features for employees, perhaps the fees are higher than what they could be, This again is an opportunity to position within the CAP guidelines Commonwealth as a better option for that client. And again, we can provide marketing collateral to support you in that conversation. So for instance, that plan review I mentioned earlier, just showing clients the difference in some of the metrics and the areas of improvement within their existing plan, as well as how easy it would be to move their plan over with Commonwealth. Now, lastly, we wanted to highlight our client-ready reports. And you can see an example on the screen here. So we've kind of walked you through the full sales cycle of prospecting, cross-selling, generating new client opportunities, kind of a step-by-step with the case study from Min of how you can actually bring that client to Commonwealth and IDC to get them up and running with a group retirement program. So we're kind of bringing you to the end of that cycle, which is the annual plan review and the ongoing governance. So yes, the CAP guidelines are a lot to think about, but we've also made it really easy for you to ensure that you are abiding by those guidelines. These reports can be self-generated through our advisor site for any cases that you place with us. So again, fully digitally, you can log on to the advisor site, generate this report for a time period of your choosing, and it can be a really valuable tool for guiding those annual plan review conversations. So you set up some time with the client, you generate this report ahead of the call, and then you basically walk them through how their plan has performed over the past year, making it really easy to just do that ongoing plan governance and education. And that actually brings us to the end of the presentation. So again, just want to iterate that we're here to support you every step of the way, whether you are looking to generate opportunities, assist a client in setting up a group retirement savings plan, or simply learn more. There's a lot that we could go deeper on. Please don't hesitate to reach out. So we have some contact information on the slide there. You're welcome to reach out if you want to learn more. And with that, we have plenty of time for Q&A. So it looks like we have quite a few folks on the call. We would love to hear from you, help with any thoughts or questions that you might have. So feel free to throw your questions in the chat.
I just want to make a note here. In this slide, the contact email was grs@idcwin.ca. We've updated that, so now it's groupsavings@idcwin.ca. I apologize for the confusion. You mentioned that there was on slide 4 that there was the trajectory for income model. And so I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more specifically with some, real life examples with some numbers if you have those.
Yeah, absolutely. So something that, again, we haven't gone into in detail, but would love to dive into over a follow-up call is the compensation models and just the fee models. So we have 3 kind of models for startup opportunities, basically slightly different investment management fees for the BlackRock LifePath target date funds, building in more advisor compensation for the higher fee option. So it would be a combination of asset-based compensation. So you're compensated on the total assets in the plan. So that's where that growth opportunity comes in because the assets in the plan obviously continue to grow quarter on quarter, year on year, and you continue to get compensated on the assets in the plan. There's also a cash flow compensation component, so any money that is flowing into the plan on a monthly basis. So that's the beauty of the automatic payroll-based deductions that are coming into the program. You also get compensated on that cash flow comp. And then really the big thing is the compensation on transfers. So we talked about the metrics and we see kind of a 16% transfer in rate versus I think it was 4% as the industry average. So you also get compensated on employees who are moving money into the plan on an individual basis. So those individual transfers and lump sums, you would get compensated on that as well. So that's hopefully a good summary, John, of where the different components come from. And then the last thing I'll mention is if you have an existing plan, the client with an existing plan that you're moving over, you would also get upfront compensation on the total assets that are moving over. So if, $1 million moving over, you would get upfront potentially like a 1% or 2% on the 1 million that's moving over. So there is the upfront kind of transfer compensation for those bulk transfer opportunities.
This is a great opportunity for any advisors who have potential clients in their book that are currently not being serviced. As Numahar has pointed out, this is an underserved industry. There's a ton of opportunity available. a lot of times it's that advisors don't have the chance or haven't thought about mentioning this product or adding this to their product shelf to serve their clients. Now, we always want to look at it as a holistic approach of, well, what can we provide to these sponsors and to our clients so that they get everything they need? Because if we are not doing it, somebody else will. Okay.
And my answer to that question was we certainly have, and Nobahar shared a kind of preview of some of it, some co-branded material. We have some videos that you can share about how it works, kind of a teaser of the platform and the overall experience for plan administrators. Is it best, John? Maybe John, I'll let you answer that second part of the question. Will everybody be provided those materials, or should they reach out to
You should reach out if you're looking for co-branded materials.
Thank you. So the IMFs, they are on a tiered basis, I guess, for lack of a better term. The investment management fees will vary depending on the size of the plan, and that's where we're more than happy to have a conversation with you about that specific client, about their specific needs. But in general, yes, as a plan grows, as the asset and the cash flow expectations of that plan grow, then the investment management fees will start to come down. Our fees are very low, typically 20 to 30% cheaper than those of the legacy insurance carriers, especially in the startup group, the startup space where a Canada Life and Manulife might charge 1.8, 1.9% as a starting point. We won't come anywhere near that. We'll be much lower.
Yeah, so Manulife Future Step, that's kind of like Manulife's small case offering. They would start at 1.8% annualized investment management fee. Canada Life around 1.9. With Commonwealth, you can get as low as 1.25% annualized investment management fee for a startup plan. So you can see 1.25 versus 1.8, pretty significant difference in membership right from day one for a plan with even 2 employees.
Yeah, and that to answer David's question there, yes, typically before with just one employee in the group, it may not make sense for a group RSP. Above 2 is where a group RSP starts to make a little bit more sense.
Any other questions? What do you feel like are some of the challenges when it comes to getting more policies implemented?
That's a good question. I think historically, and this is why we were just starting off with the revenue opportunity, it's simply felt like it's not worth the time investment. You're spending so much time and energy with the service issues, just setting up a plan, that you begin to question whether or not the revenue opportunity is sort of worth it. At least in our conversations with advisors, when we kind of ask them that question of why have you historically steered clear of GRS, that's one of the things that they highlight. And then, of course, just the lack of innovation in the industry. So Commonwealth has been recognized for some of the work that we're doing. We've been recognized internationally for our innovation. And I think, again, within Canada, there hasn't been as much innovation in the group retirement landscape. We're really trying to change that, trying to partner with you to grow the market because there is a huge opportunity to make retirement accessible for everyone. And we you as advisors with your clients can play a very big role in that. So yeah, just that lack of innovation coupled with the feeling that it's not necessarily worth the time investment for the revenue opportunity could be a few reasons why folks have steered clear of GRS in the past.
Yeah, I completely agree. At the end of the day, it's really just what advisors think is worthwhile, because everyone's running their own business, time is money, and everyone's looking for the fastest way to grow their revenue. And so thank you for taking the time to answer that. And I apologize for putting you on the spot as well.
No worries. Another great question from Tim, who is interested in seeing the fund performance. So that's definitely something, John, that we can share with you. And then if you want to share it back with Tim, or Tim, you can reach out to that email that was shared, and we can send you along a few slides on the historical performance for the target date funds and the RBC funds as well.
So Tim, send an email. I will get those slides to you, and I will get you, depending on what else you need, please include it all, and I will provide it all together. Okay? Thanks, Tim. Any other No questions? If otherwise, then we will give everybody some time back in their day. You get extra 10 minutes, so I hope you go and enjoy the sunshine, or if you haven't. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and thank you again for attending the webinar series. GSP isn't scary. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Have a great day. Bye.